Yo, yo, yo. Good afternoon, freedom marchers, freedom family, freedom lovers and freedom fighters. Snapzilla Gorillas in the building. On a ruck. Taking a little break from work to give you guys an update on familiar. Trey Reed is a black young man who attended Delta University in Mississippi. He was found hung on Monday, right? And of course they're saying that there was no evidence of foul play, okay? That is what they're saying. But what's interesting is that members of Trey Reed's family is saying that they believe there is foul play. You know, they're saying were found on Trey Reed, when they discovered his body. To hanging. Now, the authorities are saying that it was a suicide. But if what the family believes is true, well, why would someone break their own bones before they hang themselves? So, the official narrative from the police department, from the authorities, from the sheriffs, is that Trey Reed killed himself and there was no foul play. But the family of Trey Reed, because they clearly do not trust what the authorities are telling them about Trey's case. Damn. I don't know why it's looking like this. These goddamn cell phone cameras, y'all. So, you know, over the years, and for some reason or somehow, every single one of them was a clear suicide. None of them, like it happened so quickly, how they closed the investigations down, right? Within a few days, they are already saying, oh yeah, this is a clear suicide, no foul play. Before they even have an autopsy. So how are you making this determination before the autopsy, right? This has been happening for years, all across the nation. And not just in southern states like Mississippi. Hell, there were a few in California. Let me tell y'all something, man. Let me tell y'all something. There are plenty of racist individuals and racist groups in California. Yanni Mamalika, salute to you. Joe Gossett, salute to you. He says, do we really have a broken leg? Or was that all speculation? Well, at this point, it's speculation because, the family is saying that he had broken limbs, right? And the authorities are saying there were no injuries, right? There were no pre-existing injuries. There were no injuries prior to. So, we just have to wait, right? We have to wait and see what information comes out because at this point, it's too early to say either way. And that's really what I want to impress upon everyone. Earlier, I did a live stream, right? about this, but goddamn this fucking bottle. It had to do with, there was a headline going around saying that there were hangings of 2 black men within hours of each other in Mississippi. So I looked into a little bit, and what I discovered something, and I wanted to talk about it in the live stream. But somehow, you know, I did about, I want to say a 20-minute live stream, but somehow it was cut down to 15 seconds. Yeah, it got turned into a 15-second live stream, so I had to delete it. Hold on just a second, y'all. I gotta fix something. Damn it. Sorry about that, y'all. Yeah. Now said, there were the hangings of 2 black men in Mississippi within hours of each other. All right. The one guy is, his name is obviously Reed, or Trey Reed, right? His first name is longer than that, but you know, it's hard to pronounce. And the second guy's name was Corey Lutikis or some shit like that. Now the second dude, Corey, I looked into it. Guess what? He wasn't black. The second guy was not black. The second guy was a white dude. He was found hung by some woods, or out in the woods somewhere. So, yeah, there weren't 2 black men hung. It was a black man and a white man. Okay? So, it's easy. You know, you just gotta do a little bit of fact checking, do a little bit of research. You know, listen, this is what they want to do. I don't know what happened to Trey Reed. I don't know if he committed suicide. I don't know if he was, you know, attacked, beaten, had his limbs broken, and hung. I don't know what happened to Trey Reed. I don't know what happened to Corey Zutakis, or whatever the hell his name is. I look like I'm in your neighborhood. No, Bert, I don't live in your neighborhood. I don't live in your neighborhood. And this is not your neighborhood. I'm getting my ruck on right now, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Gotta stay fit, gotta stay moving. You know, gotta stay ready. I got about a total of 80 pounds on me right now that I'm rucking with. I want to know why it ain't on the news for real. Which one? The both hangings or the one? Which one? Yeah, because they don't really want people to know that they're finding all these black men hung. But then you got the guy Corey, who's not black. He was hung. So it kind of, you know, it kind of distorts things a little bit, right? Am I a failure? Yes, I am. Stay hydrated. Oh, for sure, Dustin. I stay hydrated. That's why I got my drink right here. Listen, man. There's a fear campaign going on. All right? There is a fear campaign. And there's a campaign to sow division as well. They're sowing division through fear. They want the left to fear the right. They want the right to fear the left. They want the blacks to fear the whites, and they want the whites to fear the blacks. Right? That's what they want. And they want you to look to them as their protectors. They want you to look to them as their caretakers, as your caretaker. That is not the way to live. We live on this earth, right? We live on this earth. And there's not just one race of people on this earth. There's not just one culture. There's not just one creed. There are hundreds, thousands of cultures and creeds. And they all do their own thing, right? And a lot of different cultures and creeds, they have similarities. A lot of these cultures and creeds, they have differences. But there does not need to be any fear, right? I don't need to fear your culture because I don't understand it. And I don't need to look down on your culture because I don't understand it. I just have to understand that the differences are there and it doesn't have to affect me. Unfortunately, these people, certain groups of people, did not have this understanding. Thousands of years ago, when they started going around the world, trying to conquer everything, right? Thinking, well, I came to this land by ship, right? And these people are primitive. I don't understand why they're still like this. These are savages, right? They don't deserve the land they have right now. They don't deserve it. They need us to come in and they need us to civilize them, and we need to control their resources and we need to control their ideologies. We need to force our ideologies onto them. We need to force our culture onto them because these are wicked savages. These are animals. Look at them running around in loincloths, chucking spears. You know what I'm saying? Using these crude tools. They don't have to live like that. We can show them a better way. But in order for us to do that, well, we have to destroy their culture to shape them in our image. Y'all know who I'm talking about, right? Who had this mindset? Who had this mindset? Whether you believe in religion or evolution, right? Because they have to be opposed, right? Whether you believe in Christianity, Islam, science, evolution, or all of it. It all goes back to one thing. It goes back to the human being's need to exert their power over others, to have power and control over other people. And it's not every human being, right? Paul Scales says, let's make Black Lives Matter Chicago again. Yes, let's do that. And guess what? White folks shouldn't be upset when we say, let's make Black lives matter. You know what I'm saying? Okay, Bert, what city do you live in? Go ahead. What city do we live in, Bert? Let me know. It shouldn't upset you. Because it's not like they're saying white lives don't matter. Oh, Bert. Bert says Chicago will always be Chicago. How come you won't answer my question? ATL? And I just passed your house? Okay, Pippin. Of course, all lives matter. I'm not getting into that. Anyway, Trey Reed's family, they want answers. They deserve answers. And the question is, will they get answers? Should we help them get answers? You know what I'm gonna do? I think I'm gonna call the police department around where Delta University is and just inquire. Because sometimes, we need to show these authoritarians that we care about human life. Many blacks are heading to the South. I see no problem with that. I came to the South. I grew up in LA. I was born and raised in LA, California. Yes, sir. I was born and raised in LA, and I came to the South. Nothing wrong with it. See, I had friends and family tell me that I shouldn't come to the South because they thought a band of white conservatives driving a truck with a Confederate flag on it was gonna hunt me down. You know what I'm saying? And do bad things to me. I have no fear. I have no fear. You know why? Well, I have the right to keep and bear arms. I have the right to keep and bear arms and to use any tool I so choose to defend my life. You know what I'm saying? You just have to have the will to do so. Does keeping and bearing arms, does that guarantee your safety? Does that guarantee you'll survive? Absolutely not. Hell, you might not even get a chance to pull your shit out. You might not get a chance to even think about pulling anything out. But that's not the point. The point is not to have a guarantee, because nothing in life is guaranteed, except for death. Rodney Edwards says, I'm white, but I'm not racist. I just feel like we should all come together instead of separating from each other and making excuses not to be one. I would agree, right? But there are chaos agents out there that, they don't care nothing about none of that. There are chaos agents that want to keep this division going, and a lot of people are falling for it. A lot of people are falling into this divisive narrative. They are feeding into it. They are being conditioned. So, yes, while they may be sowing the division, guess who's perpetuating it? The people. The elite class is sowing the division, but we are perpetuating the division. We are keeping it alive. This racist system that we exist in is racist because that's how they keep the division going, right? The elite class, they're beyond racism, right? It's second nature to them. They don't have to even think or work for it, right? What they do is they keep the systems in place and they fuel the machines that keep us divided. But it's second nature. It's nothing to them, right? Because it's easier for them to assert their power and control, right? So what they do is they hand that down to the talking heads that they put in front of you, like the Charlie Kirks, right? They place those guys in front of you. You know, the right-wing conservatives, the left-wing liberals, right? We have to understand. Y'all know what a dominant culture is? The dominant culture or the dominant society, those are the individuals, are made up of individuals that dominate, right? That's why it's called dominant culture. They dominate society, right? So whoever makes up this dominant culture, right? The people that make up this dominant culture, the elite class, the people within the proletariat class that look most like them, that behave most like them, that have the most common ancestors, they're going to benefit more under the system of slavery. They're still enslaved, right? They just are not, they don't exist with as many shackles as the ones that don't look like the people of the dominant class and the dominant culture, if that makes sense. Salute to you. But salute to everybody coming in through the building. Nate says, yes, Unc, it's class conscious. It's just a breath of fresh air. Absolutely class conscious. Yes, full-time, it's not the work that makes it slavery. It's, they extort you when you work. See, they need you to be working class so that you can provide them with your tax dollars. The tax dollars, that's really extortion. They need you to work. They need you to work for a corporation, right? So here's how it works. They condition you to work for these corporations as workers so that they can extort you, right? And the corporations, you know, the officers of the corporation, the executives, well, they don't get taxed like you. But what they do ensure is that the government and the banks, they get the kickbacks, right? So not only does the elite class extract from us through extortion, they also get these donations, right? Lobbying. If you guys are familiar with lobbying, you know what I'm talking about. Do when they lobby. Why do they lobby? Well, what they do when they lobby is they show up to so y'all, somebody called me and screwed my live up. Ron Jeremy says a man named Corey Zukatis was also found hung a few hours away, less than 24 hours apart. Yes, that is, I talked about that. That's the white man that was hung, or Hank that was found hung. Yes. So, I want you guys to consider this. I talked about how a community of communist liberals can go over there and mind their own fucking business. And a group of Christians, Christian conservatives, can go over there and mind their own fucking business. And a community of pro-black motherfuckers can go back that way. Form a community, mind their own fucking business. And that would just be it. You stay where you at, I stay where I'm at. Maybe we can get together for some, some trade, some commerce, and just have a mutual respect for each other's cultures. We don't have to, you know what I'm saying? We ain't gotta be best friends. No. You respect what I got going on. I respect what you got going on. Salute to Jut. Salute, Jut. Good morning to you, or good afternoon. Just getting my ruck on my lunch break. Yeah. Well, this is not a fishing spot, yo. It's not a fishing spot. There's no fish there. But I do want to go fishing. The bottom line is, I'm not saying that